Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Badfish and welcome to another episode of San Pedro. If you're new to my channel, San Pedro is my current ongoing realistic Cities Skylines series based off the American West Coast, so welcome. If you end up liking this video, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. That definitely helps me out. And if you end up liking the video as well, definitely check out my channel for more builds. But today, guys, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be basically expanding. We're going to be adding 30% of the size we already have to our city. We're going to be expanding it by about 30%. So we're adding a lot of people. We are doing a lot of stuff today. It's going to be a lot of high low density, if that makes sense. So you'll see me kind of putting these San Francisco Italianots, however you pronounce it. And they're low density residential, but pretty dense. So I'm going to go ahead and start throwing those around and do a quick jump cut here so we don't have to watch me place all of them down. And part of that build that we were doing, part of those roads, you might have noticed a diagonal road kind of cutting through everything. That's going to be our main little hub here. So I'm adding some bigger buildings to that side, kind of clipping in different larger office buildings and stuff like that. Instead of just having these smaller low density residential areas, I wanted some commercial and some bigger buildings to kind of catch your eye and have a main strip of this kind of residential area we're building. But the reason I really wanted to do a big expansion is San Pedro has been going on for over 40 episodes at this point, and we still got a lot of city to go. So it's a big city. Like, San Pedro is very large, and I wanted to make sure that I actually would be able to finish it without burning out. So I wanted to do a big swath of stuff and just have a big area. But I think we add some really good details to this area too and make it unique and neat, so it's not like we're just painting the map with buildings. So right now you're just seeing me do a bunch of different clipping on some of these bigger buildings to just add in unique storefronts to the bottom. I just like doing that because it just makes some of the buildings look more interesting instead of just having kind of the base awnings or doors or whatever. And you see that a lot in real life buildings as well, real life cities kind of having these storefronts clipped into the bottom of otherwise residential or office buildings. And of course, where it's an American city, I gotta have my parking lots. So I'm trying to get better with adding more parking lots where I can. So I think we put like 4 or 5 in this actual area that we're building out right now. So we got a good amount of parking and places for people to hang out. And basically what you're just seeing me do now is just kind of round out the buildings for this main strip, just clipping in some different stuff. And in a minute here, we're gonna jump into the bulk of today's detailing and what we're gonna be doing. So I just like to have my landmarks down before I start detailing, and here we go. We're gonna start out by just filling in everything with trees. I think for me, sometimes, especially with low density, I need to have the trees put in and make things look less bare before I can stop freaking out that it looks terrible. So I did that first. So we're gonna do a jump cut here too, because it was a lot of trees. And now we're going to jump into our billboards on the main strip. So last episode, I did a ton of billboards for our tourist district. Same kind of deal here. Obviously, this isn't going to be based off of tourism. This is more just because this is the only commercial hub for this giant section of city. So I wanted to make sure that there was some good advertising going on the main strip, and that, you could really tell that it was kind of the commercial strip for this part of the city. So just putting in different advertisings. You saw the Bluth company there, so shout out Arrested Development, and most of them are real companies. I do put a couple TV shows and stuff in though, just for fun. But yeah, I just wanted it to look well advertised and like a big commercial hub, since this is the big commercial hub for this side of the city. And now we're going to jump into some fine detailing now and kind of work on some different cool areas that I wanted to have as aspects of this neighborhood. So starting out, we are filling in these kind of bigger houses. So these are more or less our inner city mansions. So we're just going through adding in these kind of wrought iron fences, which I did in my mansion episode. So if you saw my mansion episode, this is kind of just like a small microcosm of that build. Doing a lot of the same principles, a lot of the very heavy manicured landscaping that you're going to be seeing me doing then now, and having it all separated by fences. So I wanted it to have that nice lush grass again. We're going to put in some bushes and trees and kind of more manicured landscaping as well, just to again help them stick out a little bit more against our regular buildings. So you'll see me here just kind of lining them with bushes and things like that, just to make it look a little prettier, a little more interesting, and show that these people got some more money compared to the people that are living in the houses that are literally on top of each other. So I just wanted to have a little section with some nice housing off to the side here. So we're just going to finish out landscaping these. So just lining some of the walls with bushes, not all of them. And then we are going to go ahead and put in some more like colorful bushes and trees and stuff in just a moment here, just because it was getting a little boring just only having kind of the lining trees. So we're adding those colorful bushes. We'll add some big kind of natural growth areas of, I think it's just called like the leafy garden. It's just like a little patch of bush that you can put down right there. I think it looks nice, kind of like clinging onto the houses. And we'll put in some of these linden trees here, which I have used in different areas throughout San Pedro. I just think they look really nice against these bigger kind of, large houses. And now moving on, we're in our In-N-Out burger, aka our Down-N-Out burger, and we're going to go ahead and paint in our actual drive-through and put some planters and stuff and just kind of try to make it look a little more unique and interesting than just the building itself. So just adding in that drive-through area, putting in planters. So we put a planter on the corner, planter down the side, and we're just going to put a couple little shrubs right in there to make it look a little prettier. So here come the shrubs. Not going to do much else other than that. There wasn't really much room to do it, but I think still just having that little bit of green area and then putting this little bit of green area in helps break up obviously the concrete, but also just helps make the little burger store stick out a little bit more on its corner. And now moving through, I want to put down some more seating areas on that main stretch of road that we put all the billboards out. This is something I do a lot with my more dense builds, is I want to make sure that I have good little seating areas. So not even necessarily parks. They don't have to be parks. I mean, parks help, but just kind of scattered around, just having these different planters and benches. And you'll see me in a minute start putting down some hedges and benches just to have places for people to sit down. And I mean, again, if you really think about, cities you might have been to, especially if you're American, there's a lot of benches and trash cans and just different stuff, different amenities kind of strewn across. It's never just all, the plain concrete. There's always different things going on. So I just try to capture that and put it in my different areas. So this is a big seating area. That's going to be the biggest one we build, but we are going to add a few more in. I don't know how many of them are actually going to be on camera, but we do put a couple more in. So just rounding out this seating area with a little food kiosk and some tables and chairs there. And now, like I said, I am going to just start using some hedges and benches right here. So I'm just making like a little set prop that I can copy and paste using Move It and kind of scatter throughout the build here. So I'm not gonna, again, like I said last time when I did this, I'm not gonna align the street with it, but I'm gonna put enough that it's a reoccurring motif, more or less. So moving on from that, we are going to start building out a little garden. So I really wanted to have like a garden park right here, and I actually had kind of a fun idea for it that you're going to see me start building out right now. So you might be wondering, like, why the heck am I putting concrete down in the middle of a park/garden? Well, it's because I picked up some really cool assets that I think we're going to have some fun with. So I got these market tents a while back when I was building out the racetrack, but then I just found all the market props and tables and stuff. So I wanted to do like a little flea market kind of right in the center of this neighborhood. I thought that'd be kind of cool. So like maybe this is something this neighborhood's famous for. It could be a farmer's market too. I only had clothes to put on these, so I'm calling it a flea market, but in my head it could also be a farmer's market or something. But they do it right here by this park. This is what they're kind of known for in this area. And just building out that market now. So the market's in session today. And I just thought that was a fun little detail. I haven't seen too many people do that. So I wanted to try it out and just have some fun with it and have a little market square for my people to go hang out and interact in. And then we are going to go ahead and just put some planters down with some little bushes. Eventually palm trees will find their way in there later. And now we are going to go ahead and fence through our actual park itself. So I only have the fence around the part that's not the flea market. The flea market is just flush right open to the actual like neighborhood, but the park itself is closed around. And then just doing our natural landscaping, I'm going to do a quick jump, and then we're just going to fix it out with some colorful flowers and stuff. So we got a nice little park there. We'll go over that more in detail in the live play so you can get a better view of it. And just adding in some more superfluous details. really the way I do my detailing is I have a good idea of things I want to add, and then at a certain point I kind of run out of ideas and I just kind of float through the area that we've already built, and I'll just find things. Like I'll be like, oh, there's a lot of concrete there, oh, I could do this, and like I said, I just kind of float through. So there was a lot of stuff cut from this one. If you've been noticing a lot of transitions, it's because I would build things, then delete them, and then build more things, and then there was a lot of busy work detailing that I didn't want to have like on that camera itself. So there was a lot of like just placing down rows and rows of houses and trees and stuff like that. So it was a slog of a build for this one. But again, we expanded the city so much. I think by the end of it, we ended up adding like 7,000 or 8,000 people, and that's without me even fully running the simulation. So I'm assuming it'll be closer to like 10 or 11. And yeah, San Pedro's getting big. San Pedro is getting big, which is fun. So just finishing out this gas station here with some more parking lot assets, just static parking lots, and eventually I am going to come through and put some decals on all of that. We'll do that at the end of the build. And my last little bit of like really cool detailing, I really enjoyed putting down this little mechanic here. So we got a lot of cool mechanic assets again from when I built the racetrack for the race pits. So I wanted to utilize those in just like a mechanic aspect. So we have a bunch of little guys running around working on the cars, and we got tools scattered around, and you know, they're looking at stuff and able to work through it and just kind of make that mechanic area a little bit more alive. And just putting in these planters again to have some cool parking. And we're gonna fence in the side of it too and put a nice little chain link fence between the house and the mechanic as well, which I think adds some nice detail. And just filling it in with a little bit of cars, so not full, but you know, people are there. And we're just gonna pop in that fence real quick. I just really like that little area. I thought it was a cool little piece of detail. And now we're just gonna finish out by doing some more sidewalk details. So I am gonna be putting down trees and planters across all the sidewalks. I didn't save all the footage of that because again, it gets pretty monotonous, but just so you know I'm doing it, here it is. And just to finish out today's build, guys, we are gonna put down some ads and decals and lights and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna let that just kind of play out with the music, and then we'll jump into the live play section. But I also just wanted to let you know, you're gonna see at the end of this section, I did make a big oops and I added a water source without realizing, and I flooded my entire build. So I had to rebuild half of it. So you're gonna see a little bit of that if you were wondering where all that water came from. That's it. But we're gonna jump into the next section for you, and I will see you guys on the live play. Hey guys, welcome to the live play side of things. I'm just going to jump right into it because we got a lot of stuff to cover in this section. We built a lot out here today. So if you want to just kind of get an idea for what we built map-wise, this entire section was built out in this episode, basically. Ignore that. That's because I had some flooding issues that you probably saw in that time lapse. I by accidentally put a giant water spout right in the middle of this and it broke half my stuff. But anyway, let's just jump right into it. So along the sides, we just really have these different San Francisco Italianots, however you pronounce it. They're great. It's a really good pack on the workshop. I believe Seabud makes it. If that's not correct, I'm sorry, but I think it is. But that is what we just kind of got going on down here with just some base landscaping. But then there's kind of like this central part to this section here. So this kind of like main strip is where the most of our detail is today. So if we go into this kind of main strip, it leads all the way down to that section, but we'll start on this end. So just a little seating area with some ads and you know, some places to eat from this kiosk. The down and out, aka the in and out, I really enjoy it. Let me just first of all make sure I'm not losing daylight here. There we go. So yeah, the in and out over here I really enjoyed putting together. So we just got the lines kind of going down this way with the planners to show you where the drive-through is, and then we got the actual drive-through window and the little parking area. as well as just like some good little landscaping bits around it. So I just thought that was a nice little way to add some detail to that area. Right here, this little space, these are kind of like our fancy pants kind of in-city mansions. So I think it was 3 episodes ago now, I built a bunch of mansions. This is kind of like a microcosm of that build. So we just have some nice houses with some good landscaping. I just thought it was kind of a good way to break up some of the buildings. And then over here, we start just our kind of like major buildings on this stretch here. So we got a lot of ads on these taller buildings, these cool little seating areas with the street ads going around, of course, parking lots and stuff like that. I did put Super Jail in a prominent place this time, since last episode I put trees over it and you couldn't see it. So Super Jail is a little bit more prominent. I really like this seating area over here. Whenever I try to make these main stretches, I always want to have good places for people to congregate and kind of hang out. So I really enjoyed this one with the fountain. And moving through, just more large commercial buildings, large apartments, and just putting ads on them to make them look a little more interesting. And I'll show you when I get to some of them, but I do a lot of clipping just to make the buildings a little more unique and a little bit more my own. So like this one, for example, is technically 3 buildings, but I clipped them all together to kind of make a cool little corner and put some ads on it. Got the good old Rest Development Bluth Company hanging out over here, and then just a little drugstore on the corner. Again, more parking. I really enjoyed this. So I found these market props on the workshop, so I decided to just put a little flea market in front of my cool little park here. So we got this whole flea market area going on for people to go and shop, and then walk right into this nice big park right here. And I think that's got a good looking area to it, kind of surrounding it with some of the bigger buildings. Then again, just more apartments. So here's some of that clipping I was talking about. So the base of this building is rather plain, so I decided to just go through and add in some different commercial properties. So we have a little arcade here, an auto zone, put some more parking in, another planter, put the Dunkins in on this end, and a little taco shop. So again, just kind of surrounding the base of this building, making it look more interesting, still leaving some openings so people who actually live here can get in. And yeah, that's that building right there. So that's what I'm talking about with the clipping. Same thing over here, put a Taco Bell, KFC, aka JFK, and some ads. And again, just breaking up the concrete with these cool little natural growth patterns, I think really worked out in my favor. And just putting down like the hedges and the seating areas. A couple last things to go through. First of all, we have this big courtyard for this big office building. Not much to go through there, just some seating area for the employees to eat lunch. Then we did decorate out this little guy here, this little gas station. Again, just delineating where the parking is a little bit more. Adding in some lights and stuff and some ads, and then of course just like the wear and tear and the cracks and the actual like oil and stuff that's spilling from the cars as they go through. And my last thing I wanted to go through here today before we jump into the cinematics for you guys, I think this is actually my favorite part of this build just because of the little details. So I have this cool little, it's called like the Merlin Mechanics or something. So I decided just to put a bunch of cars through. First of all, extended the parking out in the front, put some lights in, but then just had a bunch of little work crews and stuff going through here. So they're actually working on some of the cars and, you know, making them look pretty. Although this is an actual like citizen. They decided to just ram up into that toolbox. Sweet. And this guy, even better. He just decided to park through 3 people. So we're gonna ignore those issues and just keep going through. And then in the back here, I just put like a little junkyard for them to come and pull parts from. And you know, these are just junker cars, maybe they're repairing, and some more tools and stuff. I just thought it had cool little detail, and you know, messing it up with the oil and stuff made it look even better. But that is the build here today, guys. So I think it came out pretty good. You know, for as much expansion as we did, got a lot of detail. I think we added like 7,000 or 8,000 people right now. Let's see. Yeah, like 7,000 or 8,000 people, and it's still climbing. And we're gonna even put more residential kind of extending down here. I don't think that'll be a video. I think that'll just be me kind of doing my normal stuff. I also seem to be hitting a death wave, which is rough. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I'm hitting a death wave, but you know, honestly, for me, it's not that big of a deal because I go with unlimited money and no abandonment, so the buildings will still be there. People are just upset. Anyway, let's ignore all that. All those issues can face another day. But yeah, that's the build, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead, jump into some cinematics for you, but before I do that, definitely leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see some more detailed city skylines, if you just enjoy the builds that I've been doing, I got a whole bunch more. There's a whole bunch more San Pedro. We got a lot of stuff filled out in this map, so go check it out. And if you enjoy that, definitely subscribe to the channel. I usually post like 3 to 4 times a week. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy the beginning of your week, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers.